Good morning. I'm already posting another video the day after I dropped the first one. Yesterday was an introduction. Today is Dark Secrets Revealed from the Palsy Philosopher, Chapter 1. I asked God for a miracle. And here's a picture of my two mothers. My mother Mary right here, and my mother Joy right there. I believe they were sitting together at a church function. And here's another picture of my dad and my mom, Joy, right there. And here's another picture of me when I'm trying to walk as a young kid with braces. All right. I must have been 6 or 7 years old when we moved from Castro Valley. The new house was a single story. The house in Castro Valley had an upstairs and downstairs level. I remember climbing up and down the stairs. Our new house even had a swimming pool and a diving board. Shortly after we moved there, I had to have my tonsils taken out. This improved my speech, and I did not drool like I used to. I remember having ice chips and ice cream. The doctors made a big deal of telling you you could eat all that after you had your tonsils out. But something went wrong. I was throwing up a lot of blood. I went back to the hospital, and they found out that my appendix were about to burst. So I had to have surgery again. This was my third surgery in my life. A few days after I was born, my first surgery, I was born cross-eyed. At this time in my life, I had a lazy eye, and I was supposed to wear a sticky eye patch in the eye to help strengthen my weak eye when we moved to Rossmore. I only did it for so long. It was really uncomfortable, and it didn't really help my eye get any stronger. Anyway, after my appendix, I was about 8 years old, and I fractured my left knee in a fall. I had to wear a full cast on it for 8 weeks, and then I got it off. Hooray! I had to have physical therapy on it, and after 2 weeks later, the physical therapist fractured it, bending my leg back. So again, I had to wear a cast for 8 more weeks. Some people would say, well, did your parents sue them? The answer is no, they didn't. It just happened, and it was in probably relation to my bones and my cerebral palsy. The fun wasn't over yet. My legs had to be straightened, so I had to have tendons cut on the back of my knees so I could straighten out my legs and walk better. I had to wear full cast on my legs for 8 weeks. When I had the cast taken off, they made them into splints, so I had to wear them, the splints, and they would wrap them back up after therapy. I used to have to soak them in a tub and try to move them and bend them up and down. It was hard and it hurt. One day my dad tried getting me in the tub by himself, and he picked me up under my legs, and he didn't mean to let them fall and bend, but they did. I remember I really yelled out and was crying. He didn't mean to do it, but it happened. I was going to school with disabled children, not regular school kids. You work at your own pace in these schools, and it was probably because of all these health issues that I was no longer in the grade level with kids my own age. Going to school with other disabled children was a good thing for me, and I was mostly there for physical therapy. Most physically disabled kids were not mainstreamed back in the 1960 period of time. It was good for me to go to school with other disabled kids, and I was not the only one. It showed me I was not the only one in the world with a disability. It educated me also about many different disabilities. I started to become interested in muscular dystrophy at about 8 years old. One family had 4 boys, and we used to pick them up to go to school on the bus. They told me about their disabilities, and they told me that they would probably die in their teens, and many did back then in 1960. I worked my ass off in physical therapy. I always gave 100% because I wanted to get better and be like my brothers and sisters. One day I must have been about 8 years old, and I asked my parents, will I always have cerebral palsy? Or if I work hard, will I ever get over it? My parents told me I would always have cerebral palsy, but physical therapy and working hard would always be good for me. I went in my bedroom and I closed my door and I got onto my bed and I cried. Now I thought of my mother, Mary, and her faith. I started to learn more about God and miracles at this age, and I said while I was crying, I believe in you, God and Jesus, that you can do miracles. I believe with all my heart and soul. Please make me like my brothers and sisters. I also wanted to like girls like my brothers did. Again, I didn't understand why I was different or what the word homosexual or gay meant. Anyway, I prayed with all my heart and soul. Whatever you want, God and Jesus. I cried to myself to sleep. When I woke, I still had cerebral palsy, and I still felt the same as I did before. Nothing had changed. I believed with all my heart and soul. So I came to the conclusion that God did not make mistakes, and I was born the way I was supposed to be. This was the only time I can remember about crying about my cerebral palsy. My faith was really strong this time in my life. A large part of it was because of my mother Mary. Things would change later in years, but I won't jump ahead in the story. There is more to tell about Rossmore, and I'll tell you more in the next chapter. Thank you for watching the video. Bye for now.